So those of you who watch all my videos will see that a couple of weeks ago we did the Moonraker Minor 2, and we found that we managed to get 3.5 watts out of it, and we found that the RF gain control did absolutely nothing unless it was in AM mode, which it wasn't really the idea when the UK 2781 band, which is what we want, is FM only. So the new version, the Minor Plus. So let's see what this says. So it says RF gain control on the box. It said RF gain control, in fact the back's the same. I hope this isn't the same radio with a re-jig front panel. Oh dear, I'll have to get into it, wouldn't I? So, hopefully we've got a microphone, we've got a power lead with a cigarette lighter plug, and there's a bracket and mic clip and things in there. Don't expect they've gone to putting a circuit diagram in. UK for what's FM on UK channels, and for what's FM on EU channels. That should now allow AM on EU channels, and so that isn't the case. So inconveniently, if we wanted to use AM, you know, it's back to this, isn't it? 1 watt, and it's not supposed to be 1 watt, it's supposed to be 4 watts. So there's going to have to be some jiggery pokery to use what we're entitled to on a brand new radio. What it does say is that it's 12 and 24 volt. So we've now got this different front panel which says AM/EU or FM/UK. On Mr. Chippy's bench, so we'll use one of his screwdrivers, which I'm not allowed to use, but he's not here. And I hope they've got rid of the CPU whine which came through on receive when it was a very good signal, although in the field tests that wasn't noticeable at all. It certainly was on the bench. Don't pull on the wires on this, it's a bit... The wires to the speaker are so thin. When you compare, I've got a scrap AM uniden here. We've pinched something off. We've pinched a heatsink part off. And when you look at the kind of wiring difference between that 1980 set and it, you know, yeah, that's not impressive. Anyway, it looks like the same board, but I will have to look at the notes we've got. I've got a 6-pin microphone connector and a mic that's too light. Right, we'll go over to the RF bench and we'll see what we can do with it. So it is different inside, although they're the notes from the previous one, and it looks like all the adjustments are in the same place, luckily. What we have gained is a screening can here. So was that the source of the whining that will no longer be there? We'll connect it up to the test equipment. Oh, I was doing hand portable last. And we will see what we can do with it. So our set has booted up in EU mode, and so it's now toggling between FM and AM in EU mode. And if I remember, if it's set up the same as the previous model, then it was switch it to channel 9, switch it on. Yeah, there we are, U. And then I think we just did we just do that? No, we didn't. Right. Now, although this is the receive side, I'm just intrigued as to whether the RF gain control now works on FM. And I just can't help myself but to check. So let's put channel 20, which is what I've set the signal generator to. Still got nasty whine like the previous model. Probably not as nasty. And the RF gain control still has no effect. Still exactly the same signal from the signal generator. So that's two disappointments. We still have a whine. We still have that. RF gain control. Right, anyway, we're on the transmitter. Let's see whether we can actually get a bit more power out of this one. Turn the volume down. I'm on the 3-watt scale on our test set, and I've set up a camera onto there. I'll just select it from the video mixer. So 3-watt scale on the test set, So we're looking at, it says 30 there. Sorry about the background music, which I've forgotten to turn down again. So we'd be looking at 1 watt, 2 watts, 3 watts. And on the 30 watt scale on the instrument, we're expecting it to be, if it was full 4 watts, there's 5, we'd expect it to be there. So we'll start off on the 3 watt scale and just let's see what it does. Well, it's gone straight over to 3 watts. So let's switch it to the 30 watt scale, and it's actually about 2.9 watts. So as it comes out of the box, I mean, that is fair enough. That's kind of par for the course. So we have a transmit power control. I'll just see how many bars it's lighting. It's lighting all of them. And the TX power control on this radio is the preset there. So it's we're now on the 30 watt range, so I want it to be somewhere around there. The power supply is at 13.8 volts. Wow. 3.9 watts. It's such a smidging away from 4. Well, that's an improvement. Of course it's going to differ from sample to sample, isn't it? And of course it makes no difference in the field. Anything really over 3.2 watts to 4 isn't going to make any noticeable difference. So that's covered the transmit power. That was easy. Now then, while we've got the meter on, we'll do deviation. Usually they have these set quite low, just so they pass if they were batch tested. They never exceeds 2.5, so on the instrument we're looking at the never exceed being just there. We want it to be somewhere between 2.2 and 2.5. So I'll get the little oscillator out. So we're at 1.2. Wallow. That's interesting. It's spot on voice. Wallow. In fact, it's a bit high, that. Wallow. 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 Testing. Yeah, that needs to come down slightly. Now, isn't that unusual? But on the with the oscillator, we're not getting. Anyway, I'll set it on with the oscillator because it's easier, but I'll just drop it down a little bit from what it is. The deviation control on my notes is the control there. So in reality, it is the control just there. Of course, these are very small, using the RS yellow trimming tool. So just drop that a fraction. Wallow. Wallow. Still needs to come down a bit. Wallow. That's it. So that was too high, which is unusual. It's very sensitive on that, and if you've got a noisy vehicle, if you're using this in a lorry, then you'd get a lot of road noise. Anyway, that's how it is. So we've done that. So I'm going to move the secondary camera so you can see the frequency display, and let's see where that is. So we should have 27.79125. 27.79117. So it's slightly low. They do drop with age, and no doubt this was manufactured more than a year ago, even though it only arrived to us 10 days ago. So the frequency trimmer on my notes from the previous one is CT1, which is next to the reference crystal there. So we'll just pop that up a smidgen. $124, $125. Yeah, I think we can leave it at that. So we'll move straight over to the receive side. We're not going to do it in separate videos because there were very few adjustments to the transmitter, and I better put the soldering iron on because those coils are full of wax. So let's have a look how that sensitivity is. I think the last one was really good. So let's turn the volume up. I was going to say I'll just check the RF gains at full, but it doesn't work, does it, on FM? I'll just switch the cyanide meter on, and I'll switch the cyanide meter through to the other camera. Could do with about 5 cameras, but the trouble is the video mixer only got 2 inputs. Right, let's have a look. So at the moment we are listening to 1 microvolt, 0.3 microvolts, 0.15 microvolts. So we'll see whether we remember we're tuning this, we're optimizing this for channel 20 on the UK 2781 system. Normally, if you were doing this for a customer, you'd optimize it on channel 1 of 2781, or you'd use channel 40 of CPT, because we want to be in this, we want absolute optimum performance on the 2781 band. So that's what that's about. So that is the first of the receive coils. Needs a bit more heat. No, that's fine as it was. We'll move on to the next one. Can't see any difference there. You don't need all the tuned circuits you had in yesteryear. Gain diffraction there. No difference there. So we've gained a tiny bit. Let's see. 1.5. Okay. 1.2 of a microvolt. See what it says for 20 decibel cyanide. Oh, it's about 2.5. I don't take much notice of that. So we'll set up the S meter. So we need to have the I'll move the camera so you can see the oscilloscope, and we'll set the signal generator right now for 100 microvolts, and it says 3 out of 4 on the meter, which is probably about where we want it, but I'll nevertheless go through the adjustment. No idea what I was talking about the oscilloscope for. It's the signal generator. You just need to just see that I've got to S9, so we're at 100 microvolts. And we're on ×1 setting down there. There's a ×10. That will bring it up to more, probably. So what we're just going to do is to set, it's now gone to 2. I just want it to be on 3 toggling 4. So looking back at the notes, the S meter was the preset next to the relay. So in reality, there's the relay. Preset next to the relay is there. So we'll just tilt that up so the camera can see it. One, two. There we go. So we've got 3 toggling 4. So when I increase the signal on the signal generator, so we're now going to from 100 microvolts to 300 microvolts to, and it's just come in at 300 microvolts. It thought about it, drop it down to 100. That's exactly how we want it to read. The RF meter isn't adjustable. I think it's just a glorious TX light. I don't think it does anything. So we're going to the Squelch now. So what we're going to do is turn the Squelch to minimum, turn the signal generator off, set the Squelch threshold, switch the signal generator on, and we need to see when it comes in. 1 microvolt, 3 microvolts, and it's staying on at 1, which is called hysteresis, where it's hovering in there. Now I'm just going to make it a little bit more sensitive than that. So the normal Squelch control is there, according to my notes. So we'll just adjust that. So it's left for more sensitivity, which is what I'm wanting. So see how that works. So signal generator off, Squelch to threshold, signal generator on, 1 microvolt. That's where I want it to come in. Off, on. It's exactly how I want it. Now though, does it work at the other end of the scale? So I've now put the Squelch to full on the radio, and it's coming in at S9. That's fine. That's ideal. Because you're always in danger of having a Squelch that is so insensitive that even with the biggest signal possible, it never opens, and that's no good to anybody. So that's set that. Now it also has this auto Squelch, which isn't very auto. It's preset by the looks of it, because it was before. So we'll select that, and that's done from the mic. There's no button on the radio. Switch the signal generator off, on, see when it comes in on auto. It comes in at 1 microvolt. That's absolutely fine. And if you wanted to adjust that, it's the preset down there for the auto squelch. Now we need to just check AM modulation, don't we? And AM modulation, so we're going back to transmit because we overlooked it before, is down there. So what we're going to do, so we're now going to set the radio to go into EU mode. And unfortunately we've got to switch the set off, turn it to channel 9 and reprogram it, because it's not letting us do AM when we're set into UK channels, which since 2014 we've been allowed to do with CE approved new sets. So switch it back on with it in channel 9 position and select should be EC, but I don't know whether we're going to get the 4 watts, so let's give that a go. So it's not EC, is it EU then? It is. That's AM, that's FM, that's it. So I'll move the camera over to the power meter again. So let's look in FM, which we clearly have. So in FM, it's doing, actually it's doing 4.1 watts, isn't it? And in AM, I have to unplug the extension speaker because it's feeding back into the test equipment. It's doing what? So we're on the 3 watt scale. It's doing 1.5 watts. So is the mystery preset, is that AM low power? No. Well, we're going to have to program it into something which allows us to have 4 watts. And you know, it's like cheating the system, isn't it? Because the set's not been manufactured to take into consideration that this country since 2014 can do AM on the CEPT channels at 4 watts. A brand new radio, which is supposed to be a new model, is delivering it at 1.5 watts. And I just think that's a poor show. So we'll reprogram it for another set of frequencies. So let's see what we can do. But I don't like having to do this. So switch it off, switch it on in channel 9. Has it got Spain? I think that's it, whatever that is. I think that'll do it. So we're now in AM. Yeah, that's it. I'll just check we are in AM. FM. 4.1 watts. AM. Unplug testing equipment. 4.1 watts. I will just pop that down as a tiny fraction because I'll have the whatever the DTI is called these days. There we are, spot on the dot, 4 watts. So that'll make it 3.2 8.5 or something on UK channels. But anyway, it's now spot on. So we still don't know what the mystery control is. And I'll just now do the AM modulation. So we'll select the AM. I will just have to select that on there. Wallow. Yeah, it's very low, isn't it? That it's if we're looking at 90% modulation there, we're only looking at 30%. So AM mod is there. Hello. There we are. We're at 75% plus. That was out of adjustment. So that's AM setup. But I shouldn't have to put that into EI mode to get 4 watts. So it's been wrongly manufactured as far as I'm concerned, or it was manufactured before 2014 when the rules changed, but we're being told it's a new set. So I don't get this. We're in 2020 now. So that covers it. So what RF gain control should work in AM as well. So we'll just check that. So we'll just reset the signal generator for 27205. We'll just get rid of that camera. So now in AM, just need to set the detector, which was the yellow one there. That's a bit more lively. About 0.25 microvolts on AM, so that's fine. And let's just see. And the RF gain control works a treat on AM. I'm going to now switch it to FM CPT. And if I turn the signal generator off, the modulation off the signal generator, and to turn the volume up, you see we've got that nasty buzzing hum from the synthesizer, just as bad as the previous version. In reality, you shouldn't hear that, but it's not ideal. So my question is, does the RF gain do anything when it's there? And the answer is no. So it only works on AM, just like the previous model did, but it doesn't tell you that when you buy it. That's disappointing. So we're all set up. It's doing 4 watts, which is more than the previous one did. We've still got a buzz. We still have an inoperative RF gain, and we still have a mystery control. I don't know, is it part of the power supply? Well, there you go. So I will just pop this on an aerial, and then next time Mr. Chippy comes, we're doing on the air test with it. And the last one, which we only managed to get 3.5 watts out of, it worked a treat on the air test. So we're plugged into the test equipment speaker because the radio's still in bits. So I have a quick flick round on the aerial. It's about 11:30 on a Wednesday. I'll use the mic to have a flick through.
He was gone long enough trying to find it. He says, hang on a minute.
Found a lot of farmers talk on 28 around here, which is excellent. Somebody quite a way off on channel 8. This is something on 17. And they tend to jabber all day on 19 rather than using it as a calling channel. I'm going to switch it to EU. That's therefore FM. Oops. I'll switch it back to FM. Sorry, to switch it back to UK. And there you have it, the Moonraker Minor 2 Plus. So there is a slight improvement. It does 4 watts now. They haven't addressed the low power issue on AM. They haven't addressed the racket it makes from the synthesizer or the CPU or something. And they haven't addressed the fact the RF gain control only works on AM. But it is an improvement. It does 4 watts. And I think on the field test it's going to work very well. So there you are. It's in its entirety the Moonraker Minor 2 Plus, which is a new model this year for 2020. Thank you for watching.